so bright. And looking back on yesterday, they brought us now to where we are, from the lives that they were leading. 'Cause the truth we know today, to those who came before us, to all who led the way, may the memories we hold give us wisdom for today. To those who came before us, we can still hear your voice, the echoes of your stories are living on in me. We will always remember those who came before us. To those who came before us, to all who led the way, may the memories we hold give us wisdom for today. To those who came before us, we can still hear your voice, the echoes of your stories are living on in me. To those who came before us, to those who came before us, we remember.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our third virtual open house. We will now begin the way we begin all things at Bergen Catholic, in prayer, led by Mr. Joshua Powers, Chair of the Religious Studies Department.
All right, good evening and welcome. Let us begin with tonight's prayer. In the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, amen. And as we gather, we ask God for his blessings on the entire Bergen Catholic family and those that are gathered with us this day. God of light and hope, look upon us in love and fill us with your Spirit, that we may love you and serve you in your kingdom. Protect us during this Holy Week and keep us watchful in prayer as we await the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, who is the light of the world and who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. Blessed Edmund Rice, pray for us. Live Jesus in our hearts forever.
Thank you, Mr. Powers. Thank you and welcome to our third and final open house of this fall's admissions season during our inaugural admissions week here at Bergen Catholic High School. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Matt Rosa, class of 2008, and I am the Director of Admissions here at Bergen Catholic High School. Tonight, we will have the opportunity to hear once more the Bergen Catholic difference and the Bergen Catholic advantage. You will hear from members of the Bergen Catholic community, both in the school building, as well as, and most importantly, the greater Bergen Catholic community, our families and our alumni. At this time, I would like to hand it over to Bergen Catholic's President, Dr. Brian Mahoney.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight for our virtual open house. I'm Dr. Brian Mahoney, President of Bergen Catholic High School. Our school was founded in 1955 by a courageous group of men known as the Edmund Rice Christian Brothers, who have faithfully led our school for decades. It is my privilege and honor to take over leading Bergen Catholic and build on past successes and prepare our school for future opportunities. As Mr. Rosa mentioned, tonight's about learning about the Bergen Catholic advantage and the Bergen Catholic difference. You're going to hear from esteemed colleagues about our academic pathways, the Crusader College counseling experience, as well as other programs that we have to offer in mission and service, as well as hearing from an alumnus, Mr. Mike Haviland, class of 1978, who also is an alumni parent of Bergen Catholic High School. For me, about Bergen Catholic, and something that's so important, is how we help young men become Christian gentlemen. Building on your family values, we help boys take a look at manners and etiquette and expand on those values, helping them become better husbands, better parents, and stronger pillars in their community. Personally, my wife Amy and I have a son here at Bergen Catholic, and we couldn't be more proud of the milestones that he's achieved in only a few short months. We contributed to being around the right mindset of students within a high school environment. Students that are going in the right direction, working hard, appropriately challenging each other to reach their potentials, and exceeding parent expectations. Bergen Catholic is a wonderful school, a 14-acre campus, and we have wonderful clubs and activities to choose from. We look forward to having your sons at our school. We are amazed, though, with the surge of applications that we have at Bergen Catholic so far, and we encourage you, if you have yet to apply, to please apply by our deadline, December 7th. Thank you again for your interest in Bergen Catholic High School, and thank you for being here tonight with us as we share with you the Bergen Catholic advantage and the Bergen Catholic difference.
Thank you, Dr. Mahoney. As we mentioned before, this is our first inaugural Admissions Week at Bergen Catholic. You have had the opportunity to hear a couple of different sessions where you've learned more in depth about the Bergen Catholic difference before we hit our deadline on Monday, December 7th. Our first session was an overview of the entire academic curriculum at Bergen Catholic. To give an overview of Monday night's presentation, it is my honor to introduce Mr. Tim McElhenney, Principal of Bergen Catholic High School.
Well, thank you, Mr. Rosa, and thank you, everyone, for joining us here this evening. As Matt just mentioned, I'm excited to be able to spend a little bit of time here providing some overview of what was an overview on Monday. But any chance I have to speak about academics in Bergen Catholic, I find to be extremely valuable. So Mr. Spiegel is controlling my slides, so I wonder if he... religion. We have 3-year requirements in lab science, social studies, and world languages. Now, in those 3-year requirement areas, we certainly have a 4th year of the sequence if kids would like to continue on. If not, though, we have a robust elective program, semester-long courses of various topics that kids can pursue. And we find that to be a valuable experience for them as well. So before we get into kind of the overview, I would like to tell you what a Bergen Catholic lesson is like. And this is what our teachers plan for each and every moment that they walk into the classroom. First, how do we highlight gospel values? So things like mercy, justice, compassion. How do we find that within the content, and how do we bring that to the forefront? And that's just not in religion classes, that's in math and science classes as well. Content, we just don't hope to throw things out there and for kids to kind of gather it. We're intentional with our goal setting when it comes to the content. So we plan for what we hope the kids to internalize, and we plan strategies to make sure that that occurs. Critical thinking, kids are, we're going to force them to evaluate. We're going to force them to analyze. We're going to make them take a position, to question assumptions, to really utilize reasoning. That's the way we question, and that's what we want out of our kids. Yes, no, true, false, one-word answers. That's not a Bergen Catholic classroom. Communication. Now, this is more on the teacher side than the student side. So how can we be clear? so that when the kids are in the room, they understand where we're going from step one all the way to the last step of the lesson. How are we making sure that our descriptions are clear, our instructions are clear, so there's no guesswork? Again, how can we be absolutely crystal when it comes to sharing information, so there's no guesswork on the side of the student, so that learning is more robust? Collaboration, the ability to sit with others, to share with others, to get different viewpoints on topics. It's hard to value that. It's so successful and significant. So we do that in every class. And then creativity. This is how do we look at things. This isn't necessarily being artistic. This is how do we look at things differently, and how do we use technology to help us in that area. So these are things that we factor into every single lesson that we present at Bergen Catholic. So, Mr. Spiegel, if we can move on to what a freshman program will look like. And you can see that we have two primary pathways, college preparatory and honors. And you'll see that we have our 6 core courses: math, English, religion, lab science, world languages, and then social studies. We round that out in the freshman year by kids also taking physical education, art, and engineering courses. Now, I show this because, as you can note, there's two, college preparatory and honors, but we look at each student as an individual. So if a young man has an affinity for math and science, but maybe not so much for history and English, then we're going to create a schedule that is unique to the young man. And then we're going to grow with him. He may all of a sudden fall in love with writing as a junior, and maybe not so much with pre-calculus. So we'll push him more. We'll push him all the time, but maybe rise him up in the honors program on the English and social studies side and look and see if we have to make an adjustment on the math and science side. But what I want to share is that in each and every situation, your son will be an individual at Bergen Catholic. If we can move into the math and science sequencing at this time. Now, I know for those that have been with us a few times, I note this in each occasion, but I do think it's important that our math sequencing is purely predicated on where your son, gentlemen, where you are in terms of your math course in the 8th grade. We value that 8th grade math course. So if you're taking pre-algebra right now, which is a great course, you'll come in as a freshman and take Algebra 1. As a sophomore, geometry. As a junior, Algebra 2 trig. And then in your senior year, most likely pre-calculus. We have honors and college preparatory pathways in all of these areas. If you're taking Algebra 1 right now, not pre-algebra, but Algebra 1 in the 8th grade, you'll come in as a freshman and take geometry, and as a sophomore, Algebra 2, as a junior, pre-calculus, and then in senior year, some level of calculus. Calculus CP, Calculus Honors, and we offer both AP Calculus courses, AB and BC. So again, that's where we are based on the 8th grade. Lab sciences, our sequence is biology, chemistry, physics. Now, if you drop an AP in there at some point, it would be AP biology in the junior year, AP chemistry, and or AP environmental science in the senior year. But I just want to note that every single student at Bergen Catholic takes physics. So you will absolutely take physics at some point in your high school career because we think that's important for our young man to do. Not to diminish the ability and the success of the English and social studies areas, just so you know, we begin our English program with an introduction to literature, kind of taking a survey of all the types that they'll see in the successive 3 years. As a sophomore, it's American Lit. As a junior, it's Brit Lit. And as a senior, it's world literature. When you look at social studies, we do have 1 year of world history and then 2 years of U.S. history in the sophomore and the junior years. And then if a young man would like to continue on in the senior year, we have AP US and AP Economics in the senior. You'll see by this slide that students in the sophomore year can take AP European. For those students, most of them will move on to AP US, which yes means that they take US history in 1 year alone. And then if we could take a look, Mr. Spiegel, at the AP courses that we offer. So this kind of transitions well. We have 19. And as noted on the slide earlier, we begin as early as the sophomore year and continue through the junior and the senior. These are all excellent courses. They are qualified to be what's considered freshman level college courses. We think they have great value. We think the colleges view them with a lot of value as well. So we think it's important that we offer them and we push kids towards these courses. We also, though, have 28 dual enrollment courses. Now, these are courses that would satisfy both high school and college requirements at the same exact time. The nice thing about these courses is you will have an opportunity, most students will have an opportunity to take a dual enrollment course simply by moving through the sequence at Bergen Catholic. So the sequence of courses from your freshman through your senior year. You don't have to be on an AP pathway to take one of these. So you will have an opportunity at Bergen Catholic to take a college level course, if not more than one, at some point in your career. So we find great value in that. We're also bringing forward a new program beginning next year where we're going to have these concentrations. We're going to have in 3 areas. We're going to have STEM, media art, and then business and law. And we're going to have quarter-long courses in each of those areas for our students to take in the freshman and sophomore years. And then in junior, senior, they'll pick one of those 3 and concentrate in them. And we think this is a nice way to utilize our common period and a nice way to present information to students. So again, the 3 areas we're going to present is STEM, media art, and business and law. So we're excited about those opportunities. And this class, the class of 2025, will be the first class to be able to engage in this opportunity. So that's my presentation, and I hope you got something out of it. And again, thank you for spending some time with us here this evening.
Thank you, Mr. McElhenney. Before we move on to our next presenter, I think when we talk about the academics, it's important to talk a little bit about what the next portion of our scholarship opportunities are for students. So in order to qualify for a scholarship at Bergen Catholic, you must have in your final transcript of 7th grade received no more than 2 Bs on your final transcript. If your son is invited to apply for a scholarship, he will find out in his acceptance packet, which we will talk a little bit more about next steps later on this evening, but he will find out in both his physical acceptance packet as well as his emailed acceptance packet after 3 p.m. on Friday, January 15th. When he is invited to apply for a scholarship, we require 3 parts to that application. First, we require the online scholarship application, which is separate from the application you use to apply for admission to Bergen Catholic High School. Second, and this is important, this is when we will require 2 letters of recommendation. One, either a principal of your school, moderator, or coach, as well as an 8th grade teacher. I know some questions have been asked on whether we require letters of recommendation for the admissions process. We do not require letters of recommendations to be submitted for the actual application for admission. If they have been written already, they can be emailed directly to myself. My contact information will be shown at the end of this presentation this evening. After the 2 letters of recommendation, the most important part of the scholarship process is the scholarship exam. This will take place the 3rd week of January. The date will be in your acceptance packet. This exam is where we will decipher if a student officially qualifies to receive a scholarship, as well as the level of scholarship they will receive. So again, the scholarship opportunities for Bergen Catholic will be invited in the acceptance packet, and the steps are the scholarship application, the 2 letters of recommendation, and the scholarship exam. One of the most important parts of the Bergen Catholic experience and the Bergen Catholic difference is our placement into some of the best colleges and universities in the country. It is now my honor to introduce Ms. Beth Walter, Director of College Counseling, who will discuss the Crusader College Counseling experience. Ms. Walter?
Thank you, Mr. Rosa. Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm going to just explain some of the key parts that make our program here at Bergen so special. We have a very unique program in which we focus the college process beginning in the 9th grade. So each year we have a very distinct process that each grade level follows. I have a wonderful team of guidance counselors who work in tandem with me, and we make it so that the students really start this college search process and planning process when they enter the halls of Bergen Catholic. In 9th grade, we really begin to help the students build a strong academic framework. So we're helping them take the best classes for them. We're helping them challenge themselves to the highest potential. We are having them get involved in sports and clubs and activities that are the best suited for them. We have so many wonderful things here at Bergen Catholic that there's something for everybody. And so we try to make sure that the students really know how to take advantage of that and dive right in when they come in the doors. In grade 10, we look at college, the planning process, but looking more at career exploration and personal growth and figuring out, okay, what is it about me that makes me special, and what can I do to really hone in on those skills? What do I want to do when I graduate after 4 years? What kind of a profession am I looking into? So we have the opportunity to work very closely in the classrooms, going in multiple times a year to work with students to help them figure that out. Junior year really is the year that we shift to the college planning process. By the junior year, I would say about January, that's when we really start to help students devise a list and get in line for all of the opportunities that colleges will offer for open houses and tours and things like that. And then obviously we culminate in grade 12 with the college application and scholarship process, and we guide you through that every step of the way. We work tirelessly to focus on a three-tiered approach, which I think is very unique here. We focus on student interaction, which means that we know every student by name. So whether we see them once a month or we see them 5 times a month, we know everybody by their first name, and it is our goal to make sure that we know something about each and every student that's here. It's very important for us to know what it is that makes them special, and how do we allow that relationship to really bind us together to make sure that we're giving them the best path possible. The next is parent collaboration. We can't do this without parents. We really want to be your partner, and we want you to be involved in this process every step of the way. So we're including you in everything we do, whether that means you're coming in and having a face-to-face meeting, whether that means that you're partnering with us on Naviance, which is our student management system, or whether that means you're coming to an evening program that we offer several times a year. And we have something for you in terms of innovative programming. So we offer things related to sports and the college recruiting process. We offer a financial aid night. We offer information about scholarships. So there's always something going on here at Bergen Catholic, whether it's virtually or whether it is in person. And finally, just a 3-year look back to talk about what the department here has done and what we've achieved, which I'm super proud of. 100% of our classes in the last 3 years has been accepted to a 4-year college, and that's a pretty remarkable statistic. That means that everybody who has come through these halls in the last 3 years has gone on to at least a 4 or 2-year school, but they have all been accepted to a 4-year school, which is a really exciting goal that we have set for ourselves. 86% of our students have received some sort of merit-based scholarship over the last 3 years, so that's quite a bit. I would say that's probably over 650 students have received some sort of aid offer. And an average of $30 million in scholarship money has been awarded each year. So when you look at each class and you realize that the Bergen Catholic difference is certainly true when it comes to the college counseling process, we're very proud of what we have achieved. And I would like to share with you a little bit more about what I'm going to go over tomorrow night. I have a short little video that you can join watching, and hopefully I will see some of you tomorrow night for a more in-depth look at what the Crusader College counseling experience has to offer. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'm going to head you back over to the video.
Since 2017, Bergen Catholic High School has successfully admitted multiple students into each of the 8 Ivy League colleges in the U.S. Our successful admits also include double-digit acceptances to Catholic institutions such as Boston College, Notre Dame, Villanova, and Georgetown. We work tirelessly to assure that all students, regardless of their interests, talents, or academic ability, find a college that is truly their best match.
Thank you, Mrs. Walter. As she mentioned, to learn more information about the Crusader College counseling experience, we will have our final event of Admissions Week tomorrow night, December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. It will be the Crusader College counseling experience with Ms. Beth Walter, which will be a more in-depth and intimate evening with our Director of College Counseling to learn more about the college process. Now, we'd like to turn it over to a short commercial break.
Hi, my name is Dan Kerpick. I've been at Bergen Catholic for a little over 30 years now. Director of Facilities since 1998. It's a great place. I've made so many friends, lifelong friends. not just faculty and staff, but many student friends. And anybody who knows anything about Bergen Catholic, it's about the people. It's a great place. It's a great institution, and I'm proud to be part of it.
As we begin the next portion of our open house, it's important to talk about this idea of family at Bergen Catholic. We truly believe that our community is a family, and it is my honor to introduce Ms. Eileen Holt, a teacher at Bergen Catholic, but more importantly, a current parent of a graduating senior. Ms. Holt?
Hi, good evening. Well, I am here 19 years at Bergen Catholic, which started out as a one-year journey and quickly turned into a 19-year commitment, and I've never been more satisfied with a decision in my life. As Mr. Rosa said, I am a teacher, but I also am a parent, and my son is a senior, and I can't believe it. If you see up there on that little slide there, you can see there's a picture of him. He was probably 8. He's been involved in Bergen Catholic since forever. He actually was christened here. And starting in middle school, probably around the age that many of you who are watching right now, he had always said he had wanted to go to Bergen Catholic, and then starting around 7th grade, all of a sudden he was like, yeah, I don't think I really want to go to Bergen Catholic. And secretly, I was hoping he would choose Bergen Catholic, but who wants their son to go to a high school that they don't want to go to, and who wants their son to go to a high school where his mom works that he doesn't want to be at? Anyway, fast forward to 8th grade, and my son, my husband actually said, I think you should take Gavin and let him spend the day at Bergen Catholic, because he had always wanted to go there, and I want him to see if he really does want to be there or not. So we convinced him to come just for the day, and he was kind of talking to us again, saying, you know, I think I really want to stay with my friends. You know, my soccer coach, who was my coach in 4th grade and 5th grade and 6th grade, is actually the soccer coach at my public high school. So I think that's really where I want to go. Well, at the end of the day, he turned to me and he said, this is where I want to be. And sure enough now, here he is, senior year, graduating. You can see up there again, there's this picture of him on senior day. And I wanted him to come here. Like I said, secretly I was really pulling and hoping he would make the decision. And the reason that I wanted that to happen was because I've been here for 19 years, because it's really a wonderful community. So the boys would call it the brotherhood. I call it community. They call it the brotherhood. And I wanted that for my son. I wanted him to have that opportunity to really bond with his classmates, to get to know his teachers, to have that constant support. When we go to a football game on a Saturday afternoon, it's like an alumni reunion. There's, you know, students from the first year that I taught here 19 years ago. There's students that, you know, were here 25 and 30 years ago. And I wanted my son to be part of that huge network, not just because it's going to serve him well as he makes his connections when he goes to college and when he's in business, not just because of that, but because I wanted him to go somewhere where he would realize that he's part of something much bigger and much more significant. And I may be a little biased, but I also wanted him to learn from my colleagues. I have to tell you, the faculty here at Bergen Catholic is pretty phenomenal. Bergen Catholic's in a unique position because we are a private school. We get teachers right out of college, right? You know, kind of armed with graduate programs, graduate degrees, and kind of new and exciting and innovative ideas. We get people who have retired from, you know, years long of whatever they were doing. I've worked with colleagues who are former lawyers. I've worked with colleagues who are from corporate world, and I wanted him to have that experience for all of the students that they work so hard with and work so regularly with. So I hope to see you in the fall, and maybe we'll see you sooner than the fall for an in-class visit.
Thank you, Ms. Holt. As she mentioned, an important part of the application process that we've had in the past is our Crusader for a Day program. Unfortunately, because of social distancing guidelines and our 50-50 hybrid model, which we'll go into shortly, we are currently running personal tours to substitute for that Crusader for a Day experience. If you're interested in taking a personal tour and you have not done so yet, they take place Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Registration is required, and registration can be found on the Bergen Catholic homepage on the Admissions Center. Part of that tour, you'll be able to see what is taking place in our classroom during these unprecedented times. To go a little bit in depth about our virtual learning and our hybrid model experience, it is my honor to introduce Mr. Jorge Mascaro, Chair of our Computer Science Department.
Thank you, Mr. Rosa. So my name is Jorge Mascaro. I'm class of 1984. I am the chair of the Technology, Engineering, and Art Department, and I'm currently in my 14th year as a faculty member. That's hard to believe, but yes, it's been 14 years, Mr. McElhaney. I currently teach AP Computer Science Principles, AP Computer Science A, and Freshman Geometry Honors. I am also an alumni parent. My sons graduated in 2017 and 2020. My oldest son is a senior at Stevens in Hoboken, and my youngest son is a freshman at the University of Pittsburgh, and they're both in the business schools at their, respective colleges. Just to echo real quick what Ms. Holt said, as an alumni parent, I mean, I'm a teacher, obviously, but as an alumni parent, I mean, I sent my sons to Bergen, and I could not be happier with the result that they came out with. 4 years, of being, children to very, to young men. And they were 100% prepared to go to college, and that's exactly the kind of experience that I wanted them to have, same experience that I had, and I couldn't be happier with the way things turned out for both of them. So I've been asked to talk about the virtual learning experience at Bergen Catholic. I could probably do 45 minutes, just on what we do and why we do it and how we do it. But I don't think Mr. Rosa would appreciate that very much. So I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. The one thing that I will say is when we were forced to go 100% virtual back in March, right, we were 100% ready to go. And a lot of people are like, there's no way you guys were ready. We were. And the reason why is that we have a lot of smart people who work at the school. We have a lot of people who are forward thinkers. We have a lot of people who are not satisfied with maintaining the status quo, right? We have people who are forward thinkers and we're willing to try new things. And, we kind of, we're very good at think tanking. So a bunch of years ago, we had a bunch of very harsh winters where we lost just a ridiculous number of school days in a row, right? We wouldn't lose like one day here and one day there. We'd have to be closed for like 2 or 3 days at a time, and this was happening like every other week, right? So one of the things that we started looking at is, well, how do we mitigate this? How do we prevent, these closings where we're losing so many days of school in a row, right? So at the time, our learning management system, Blackboard, had just put out a product called Collaborate, which is a virtual classroom, 100% virtual classroom. So we started looking at this. Now, this is going back 5, 6, 7 years. I don't remember exactly when we started looking at this, but it was a while ago. And we looked at it and we played with it and we trained on it and we got our faculty comfortable with it. And then we, kind of put it in the box and put it up on the shelf. And, and every once in a while over the years, we would pull it out and kind of dust it off and say, hey, you remember this? Let's kind of retrain on this. We never know when we're going to need it, blah, blah, blah. So March comes around. So, February and January come around of this year. And we kind of saw the writing on the wall. So we started preparing, in the eventuality, right? In case of emergency, break glass in case of emergency. We had this plan kind of ready to go, and we, kind of retrained the faculty and got them ready to go. And the decision to move from a 100% physical classroom to a 100% virtual classroom, they say it happened overnight. It literally happened overnight. In 16 hours, we were ready to go. We were physically in school on Thursday, March 12th. After school, there was an announcement that we're having a faculty meeting, an unannounced faculty meeting after school. And at that time, we gathered in the library at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We were told that we were going virtual on the next day, and we were ready to go. Right? We're like, okay, we pull out Collaborate, we're ready to rock, and we go. Right? And we did not miss a beat. We did not miss a minute, a single minute of instructional time. We were physically in the classroom on Thursday. We were virtually in the classroom on Friday. Our kids were ready to go. Our teachers were ready to go. Everybody was ready to go, and we didn't miss a beat. And we did not miss a day, a minute, a second of instruction. And that is, just a testament to the kind of people that we have, and the kind of and the nimbleness of our faculty and our administration to be able to kind of pull this off in under 24 hours. So I can't be more proud of that. The as we have moved along, we have found things that work and things that don't work as well as other things. So we've adjusted on the fly. And again, right back to the faculty and the staff and the administration. One of the things that is I think unique to Bergen Catholic is that we all talk to each other. We're constantly communicating with each other, and we don't do it by departments, right? Math talks to English, who talks to social studies, who talks to science, right? We're all talking to each other. During our our lockdown period last spring, the teachers, we would get together and have virtual lunches together. We would have a virtual faculty room together. We would, get together, quote unquote, virtually after school. All right. And share stories and share best practices and share, the things that we were doing that was working and things that weren't working. And so the communication was constantly happening. We found out about Zoom, as did the rest of the world. We found out about some of the other websites, as did the rest of the world. And today, in the hybrid model that we're in, so right now about half of our class is in front of us physically on a day-to-day basis. Half of our class is at home, but the school day continues. Okay, so I'm sitting there in my classroom. I've got however many kids I have in front of me, 10 or 12 kids, whatever it is. I have another 10 or 12 kids at home, and the day progresses, and I'm able to communicate with the students in front of me. I'm able to communicate with the students at home. I'm able to share my whiteboard with them, through technology. My whiteboard is just an iPad that's hooked up to my Zoom sessions, and we go through everything, and we're able to lecture and question Q&A, and we're able to submit homework through all of the websites that we use, and we're able to answer questions. We're able to quiz and test, so we're able to do we're able to create as much of a normal environment as we possibly can. It's an environment where I think everybody is comfortable in. It's an environment where students still have the same opportunities for instruction. I, for one, have my classes, and then after school, I have my extra help. And my extra help is I sit in a classroom. So if you are in the building and you need extra help, you come to my classroom. I also have my virtual classroom set up. All right. So if you're at home and you need extra help, you come in, and we'll talk about whatever you need to talk about. Right. So all of those things, all of the normal learning experiences that the student has in a 100% physical classroom, all right, he still has. He still has. Again, we have very, very motivated teachers. We have motivated students, right? They want to get the best experience out of what we're doing, and you know, the virtual part of it and the hybrid part of it, it just is. Like, we don't really think about it. I think we were so comfortable at the beginning as a staff. We were so comfortable going into that situation from the get-go that it was never really a big deal. It wasn't a big deal for the teachers, and the kids kind of felt that as well. Well, if they think it's not a problem, then why should I think it's a problem, right? So we were able to, you know, just kind of slide right in there, and that feeling, right, that comfortableness has just extended on to this year. And you know, the freshmen who came in day one, they were able to kind of get it and get into the swing, you know, right away. So I think the transition from you know, from normal school, if you will, to what we're doing now has been as, you know, as smooth and as seamless as possible. And that's you know, a great testament to the tremendous you know, faculty that we have, the tremendous support that we have from our staff and our administration. So you know, that's what I, you know, that's what kind of what I came here to say. So, you know, I just like to you know, wish everyone luck in their decision-making process. And you know, if you have any questions or anything like that for me or for whatever, you know, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'm always available to talk about this stuff. So, Mr. Rosa, thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mascaro. As Dr. Mahoney mentioned before, we are a proud Catholic high school founded and staffed by the Edmund Rice Christian Brothers, founded in 1955. To talk a little bit more about our Catholic identity, especially service to others, it is now my honor to introduce Mr. Josh Powers, Director of our Religious Studies Department.
Hello again. My name is Joshua Powers, and I serve Bergen Catholic as the Religion Department Chair. And I'm here today to talk to you about our various service and mission programs. At Bergen Catholic, we follow in the footsteps of our founder, Blessed Edmund Ignatius Rice, and we call our students to live out this charism through the essential elements of an Edmund Rice Christian Brother education. And one of those key elements for our students is standing in solidarity with those who are poor and marginalized. This element is carried out through the various charitable organizations that we contribute to, as well as our call to students to go on week-long service trips. Some of our charitable organizations include Operation Smile, Crusaders Against Cancer, our USO Club, donations to various food pantries such as the Center for Food Action in Ramsey, New Jersey, and St. Anne's Food Pantry here in Fair Lawn. We also offer our donations to support our schools in Brownsville, Texas, and Lima, Peru. Okay? These are our brother schools that are served by the brothers, that we also encourage students to participate in week-long mission trips. And we'll have more information on that shortly. We also offer opportunities to help assist with the Center for Faith Justice program, Justice Works. I am the current coordinator of that for our school, and we take a week-long trip to Appalachia, to the location known as Pipestem, and we spend a week there working with locals to help support them through various needs, whether repairs to their home, building decks, adding wheelchair-accessible ramps, etc. And throughout that week, we discuss with the students why we are there, as West Virginia is one of the poorest of our states here. We spend the week working with the students discussing the various aspects of Catholic social teaching, which is one of the things we also do with our two other sister schools in Brownsville, Texas, and in Lima, Peru, where we ask students and encourage them to participate in a week-long mission trip open to sophomores and juniors to spend a week serving those most in need in our world. We encourage you and your families to look up more information on our Bergen Catholic website about these trips, or feel free to email me at jpowers@bergencatholic.org for more information. We look forward to welcoming you here at Bergen Catholic. We wish you and your families a very blessed Christmas together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Powers. One of the most important aspects of a Bergen Catholic education is that it is a forever experience. It is not just 4 years, it's 40 years and so on. That legacy of Bergen Catholic is as strong as you will find. We are now into what I believe is the most important part of that Bergen Catholic experience, and that is hearing about the legacy of Bergen Catholic. Before we hand it over to our esteemed alumni, Mr. Mike Havlin, we have a brief video that we'd like to share.
I just had an incredible experience at Bergen Catholic, and I think about it often as to why it meant so much to me and how much it formed who I am.
This is a very special place. You don't always realize it when you're here. You get caught up in the moment, but when you reach our age and you get to look back in hindsight, you have a much greater appreciation for the values and the character building that actually occurred here.
My two boys would come back here tomorrow if we let them.
My dad and my uncle are the reason I came to Bergen Catholic. My dad, Mike Fizlich, is a graduate from Bergen, class of '81, and he instilled in me from a young age the true values of a gentleman from Bergen Catholic. When I was a freshman coming in, he told me that I'd build relationships with classmates that would last me a lifetime. And as a junior, I can already see those relationships forming.
I had a son that graduated in '92. He is thrilled that he came here. And he tells me, you know, every so often, because he lives in Ramsey now, and he runs into, it sounds like there's 15, 20 guys in Ramsey that went to Bergen. And they're close because their kids now are in the sports programs.
When I look back at my classmates that I'm still very close friends with, I look at my sons, and as they've now entered the workforce, they're best friends, they're closest friends, they're true friends. The ones who will be there when times are tough, when you make the mistakes, when you stumble and fall, who's going to pick you up? Odds are, if you're a Bergen Catholic alumni, it's going to be another Bergen Catholic alumni who reaches down and offers that helping hand. That is an incredibly powerful force. That force, its intensity, I have not seen replicated anyplace else.
It's nice to know that there's a bunch of people looking out for you.
For all those Touchstone events, the Brotherhood shows up. You know, they're there supporting you, whether it's a happy or a sad occasion.
It's a brotherhood. That's how I can describe Bergen.
There is a lot of this camaraderie. You talk to somebody from 74, 84, or 94, and they don't care that you were 64.
We can see a Bergen Catholic alumni, and within a minute, we're sharing stories like we just left the building.
You pick up just where you were when you last talked to them. I mean, it's not like there was any gap there.
I think about not only my memories, but friendships that lasted a lifetime, but also the values it instilled in me, and perhaps most importantly, giving back to those who are less fortunate than we were when we went here.
Everyone should have the opportunity to come to Bergen Catholic, no matter of how much help they need.
It can impact someone's life substantially.
It is now my honor to introduce Mr. Mike Havlin, class of 1978.
Hi. As Matt said earlier, I am an alumnus, class of 1978. And actually had two sons come through Bergen Catholic also. But I think as a parent and as a former student, I think the one thing that I realize is the importance of the sacrifice that our parents make, because the decision is so important for the formation of the child. So I thank my parents. My dad was a mailman, and I know it was a struggle for them to put us through, but myself and my brother through, but totally very much appreciated it. They also ingrained in us that going to Bergen Catholic is a privilege. It's not a right. It's not that everybody can go here, and you have to earn the privilege to come here and to stay here. And I think we looked at that every single day as something that we had to work toward. Michael, my oldest son, was class of 2006, Tyler 2009. And I think the thing that impressed me most is they were both good students, not top class students. They were okay athletes. They were involved in a number of other things as well. But I think the value of the education really showed itself in the amount of scholarship money that was basically offered to them, much more than the cost of the tuition to go here. It also enabled them to have options, a lot of options actually, I think great options. My one son went to Connecticut College and then on to Villanova Law School. The other went to Fairfield University. And again, both had great experiences while they were here, but most importantly, I think that the recognition of Bergen Catholic education outside of these walls, it's recognized all over the world. I know my wife thinks it's silly, but everywhere I go, I wear Bergen Catholic when we when we travel. Most of the time it says BC on it somewhere. And I think the interesting thing, part of that is that whether we were in an airport in Rome, Aruba, Paris, people will come up to you and say BC, and they're asking that if it's Bergen Catholic, not Boston College. That's how renowned the school is, not just in the United States, but beyond these borders. So it travels pretty well. And like I said, I think also the return on the investment of sending your son here, you know, I think 86% of the kids from last year's class were offered scholarship money. So that means that your kid doesn't have to be in the top 1% to get scholarship money. I think the second part of the value of the education is when you leave. And maybe there's even more value when you leave Bergen Catholic. I know Mike Marin hit on it in the video there too. But you are truly a crusader for life. The Brotherhood helps people, helps lift them, and I think we find that the onus is on us to help those who need help also. So we understand that it's, again, that privilege extends itself to be a responsibility as we can go forward. Right now, there are over 12,000 plus alumni out there in the world helping each other. Many of us are involved in the Alumni Association. I was president of the Alumni Association for several years, and I know the value of that to the students who are in the building now, as well as recent grads. We put on a program every year called Careers for Crusaders, where somewhere between 50 and 75 alum offer their time, mentoring students, giving them advice, helping them find internships, some of them even getting hired by a former alum. But I think it's a great, great experience for these kids to see people who are actually out in the real world, being able to ask them questions. And I sort of joke, without their parents there filtering it for them, they're getting information from people who are really out there, and then they can bring that back to their parents and really go through that process of discernment. It's a big choice to send your son to Bergen Catholic. It's an important choice, but I think it's a choice worth going through the process and seeing not just the value of the education while you're here and the things that are afforded to them while they're here, but what happens when they leave. What is the Brotherhood like when they leave here? And I think that is a true differentiator. There's also Bergen Catholic Connect, so that we can connect online all over, offer mentorship to the students, to each other. Again, just another way to stay connected. I think the one thing that's impressed me the most, while I came out of here, probably most of my friends were the class of 76 to 80, just because I was in the building with them the most. I am now friends with people from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 2000s, which now I think that's why I understand why they put me here, because they needed somebody who's almost in retirement age to be on camera to just show that we're still around. But anyway, I just say, go through the process, think it through, and really I think you'll find that Bergen Catholic is not just a great choice, but a great value. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. We'd now like to open it up for questions. If you do have any questions, please type them into the chat option on the screen. The first question that we have is, are there AP Physics 1 and 2? Mr. McElhenney, would you like to answer this question for me?
So we don't offer AP Physics in the building. The last time we surveyed our students, which was just 2 years back, environmental science was the subject that they asked to have brought into the AP program. So we did that. In addition, AP Psychology also came in. Now, psychology fits in two areas, in the science world and in the social studies world, at least at the high school level. So those are the two we brought in. However, we are a member of the virtual VHS, Virtual High School Consortium of Schools. So we are able to offer our students, anyone that would like to take AP Physics, the opportunity to do it through VHS. So a long way to say we don't offer it in seat, but we do offer it through VHS.
Thank you, Mr. McElhenney. Our next question, where do these service trips go? So as Mr. Powers mentioned, we have 3 different service immersion programs that we offer to our students, especially the sophomore and junior classes. We also have had alumni come back when they come back from colleges and go as well. So the 3 that we offer are 2 domestic and 1 international. So our first, which usually takes place around November, is a trip down to Brownsville, Texas, to a school that was founded by the Edmund Rice Christian Brothers and the Marist Brothers. And we spend a week down there at that school. We also have a week in Appalachia down in West Virginia where our students participate in a program that's run by Justice Works, where our students go down and help those that are most poor in the Appalachia area. Our next one is an international trip, and that trip is to Lima, Peru. The Edmund Christian Brothers, in addition to being in education, they're very big in mission work, especially down in Lima, Peru. And we send mostly juniors down to Lima, Peru, right around the end of midterms, so end of January to early February, so it's about 7 to 10 days. And we send students down to Lima, Peru to help build homes for the poor. So we have West Virginia, we have Brownsville, Texas, and we have Lima, Peru. Our next question is, which colleges are the dual enrollment courses offered? Mr. McElhenney, would you like to go a little bit more in depth on that dual enrollment piece?
So we have partnerships with 3 schools, Seton Hall University, Iona College, and the University of Delaware. Our engineering dual enrollment courses are accredited through the University of Delaware. We think they give great value to us. We think other universities and colleges value these courses, so when transcripts are shown, our hope is that those credits will be accepted. But the 3 schools we partner with, Iona College, Seton Hall University, and the University of Delaware.
Our next question is, how many students are currently enrolled at Bergen Catholic? So we currently have about 700 boys at Bergen Catholic. In terms of the class of 2025, we target between 185 to 200 students to fill a class. We feel that optimal enrollment at Bergen Catholic is between 700 and 800, but we also want to make sure that our class sizes are in an area where the focus is on the student first, and that it really is that family atmosphere. Our next question is, when can boys start to take AP classes? Any AP classes for freshman year? Mr. McElhenney?
We have no AP classes for the freshman year. However, we do, as I said earlier, treat each student as an individual. So at times, we will have students come in that are significantly advanced in math. In those situations, we have had, in the past, students take an AP calculus course in the sophomore year. It is something that is rare, but nonetheless does occur. We have yet to have any situation in which someone was so accelerated that as a freshman they took some type of AP course. So the slide I showed gave you the general timeline in which an AP course would be offered to a particular student, but it doesn't mean that we wouldn't adjust if the student was advanced. But in terms of freshmen, it's not something we've had in my 15 years here. Sophomore year, sure.
So the info session that Mr. McElhenney had on Monday has been recorded and will be posted on our website. Will also be sent out. So what we will be doing, and we'll talk a little bit about the dates that we have coming up. We will be doing weekly videos that we'll be sending out from December 7th until admissions decisions go out, where you'll be able to recap any of the Crusader Coffee series as well as information sessions that we've done since September. Our next question is, can students take summer courses at local colleges like Bergen Community College to advance into other courses at BC or add to their transcript?
So the answer is yes to both. The first one, for advancement through the sequence, we need to understand why, and approval needs to be provided. So if that happens, absolutely. So where we see that most often would be if a student was taking pre-algebra in the 8th grade, and at some point around the sophomore year realized that they would like to take a level of calculus in the senior year. So to do that, they would have to take one of the courses over the summer. So again, with approval, the answer is yes. Students at times have an interest in a particular subject area, and they pursue that during the summer. If they take the course through an accredited institution, we will place that course on our transcript. Now, it's placed on other coursework or additional coursework. It is not a course that would satisfy any credit requirements that Bergen Catholic has, and it will not impact the GPA of the student's experience at Bergen Catholic. Yet, we will put it on the transcript so the colleges can evaluate it, and hopefully that increases the student's profile. So the answer to both is yes, but the first one, in terms of advancing through the sequence, approval needs to be given.
So somebody has a question about the application link on the website. So can you tell me how to find an application link that works on the website? So if you go on the Bergen Catholic website and you go to the admissions drop-down, you will see Class of 2025. It's under the information section of the admissions drop-down. You click on the Class of 2025 link, and number 1, it will say complete the online application for admission by Monday, December 7th. Online application for admission is in red. This will lead you to our online application, which is run through school admin. When you click on that link, it will bring you to a Bergen Catholic customed page that school admin has created for us, where you will create your admissions and enrollment account. If you've registered for example, a personal tour, our virtual open houses, the Crusader Coffee Series, the virtual master classes, any of the events that we've done over the last few months, you already have an account on school admin. You would then sign in to that account and then create your application. So that question actually leads us to, which is actually a great question to close with. We are going to talk about the admissions decision process and important dates. So as mentioned, Monday, December 7th will be the application deadline. Now, I know there are some questions that families might have. What if we have not received the transcripts by December 7th? We are in constant contact with your son's partner middle schools, elementary schools, Catholic elementary schools. If your son runs on a trimester schedule, they have let us know. What we ask is that 9th grade applicant record, which can be found on that Class of 2025 page, we ask that that form is submitted no later than December 7th. In addition to that, what will happen is we will then update your profile on the school admin application. So if you fill out the application and it says that the applicant record is missing or the transcript is missing, that's because we have not updated it yet. We are still getting an influx of records sent from schools. We have about 2 or 3 mail buckets that come in from the U.S. Postal Service a day that come in with these transcripts. So we want to make sure we've received the bulk of those before we update and do a mass update of those forms. What we will do is you will see no later than December 14th the updated application portal. If you do not see it updated by then, please let us know. Once we receive those and that application has been completed, we will take about a month to make admissions decisions. We will mail out admissions decisions by Thursday, January 14th. We will email admissions decisions by January 15th after 3 p.m. Why we email it after 3 p.m., we want to make sure that that email is sent out after the school day on Friday. But you will have an admissions decision no later than 3 p.m. January 15th. Registration day for the class of 2025 will take place on February 13th, with the deadline being February 14th. Before we close, I'd like to answer 2 final questions. Where do our students who are in the top 5 academically go to college? We currently have students at every Ivy League school across the country. We also have students at every top-tier university, including Stanford, Northwestern, and the military academies, as well as all of the top Catholic institutions, including Notre Dame, Georgetown, Boston College, Villanova, just to name a few. What help do you offer students that have an IEP? If a student has an IEP, they can apply to be a member of the Student Success Center. Mr. McElhenney, can you go a little bit more in depth on the Student Success Center for our families?
So as Matt noted, that we have an opportunity for students who have IEPs. We consider them service plans here at Bergen Catholic. It's just a conversion from the public school to the private school model. We have a staff of 3 faculty members who work with students. They all have the appropriate educational backgrounds, and they work with the noted strategies that would be appropriate for whatever learning difference the young man might have. In addition to working with the young man, they also work with his teachers, so that they understand what's going on in the room in terms of the Student Success Center, but also so that the teachers understand how the young man learns best. So it's a real collaboration between the two faculty groups. It's one faculty, two departments, I guess I should phrase it. So it is a wonderful program. It's one that I think if your son has an IEP, we would love for you to share it with us so we can sit down and look at it and have a conversation with you about it. And also have the opportunity for the faculty of the Student Success Center to weigh in and show you how we might work with your son in regards to his accommodations.
So if the final question is a follow-up question to that IEP question. Do students that are a part of the Student Success Center have an opportunity to attend some of those top universities if they're not able to take honors and AP classes?
Well, just because a young man is a member of the Student Success Center doesn't preclude him from taking an honors or AP course. Many of these students do. It's just that in some area of their studies, they just need some additional support. Intellectually, they're fine, and in many ways outstanding. So the answer is yes. They absolutely have the opportunity to take rigorous courses, and they absolutely have the opportunity and ability to apply to top-tier schools and to gain admission there. That's our hope. Our hope is to level the playing field and support them in ways that we can give them the best experience possible. But the answer is absolutely yes. They could do all of the above.
Thank you, Mr. McElhenney. As we close this evening, I would like to give you all a heartfelt thank you for attending all of these events that we've had over the last few months. We understand how much of an uncertain time this is in education, especially going through this high school process, and I understand that it is a struggle to figure out what school is the best for you. We have made it our goal and our responsibility to make sure that you are as informed as possible going through this process. We hope that all of the events that we've had over the last few months have given you just a small glimpse of what the Bergen Catholic experience could offer you, your families, and your sons. We also hope that if you do have any questions, you do please feel free to reach out to myself at any time. On the next slide, you will see my contact information, my direct phone line, as well as my email. We will be sending out a number of emails over the next few weeks as we close out the application season that will also include some of the videos that we've had over the last few months, including our virtual masterclasses and our Crusader Coffee series. Our Crusader Coffee series will continue after the Christmas holiday when we return to school. And we will also be running a second opportunity for students to take master classes that were popular, such as stock market and entrepreneurship, robotics and STEM, as well as sports media and journalism. We thank you again for joining us this evening, and we hope you have a great rest of your evening and a great rest of your week. And please remember to sign up for Ms. Beth Walters' Crusader College Counseling Experience information session for tomorrow evening to close out our inaugural admissions week. Thank you and have a great night.